Can't make it much tighter than that, buddy.
Alex, look at me. Gabriel, turn around for a picture. Can you kids turn around? So
Hey guys, turn around with me, alright? We're going to take a little picture here. You guys get in the front. Alright.
Gabriel, can you come to the front? Alright. Vanessa, did come.
So that little tunnel right there, that was made back in the 1980s. So we could access the tunnel a little bit easier, but from this point on, it is the legitimate 114-year-old mine. Now the original interest is about half a mile down that way where the stamp mill is, but during the Great Depression they kind of cannibalized the stamp mill to make some other structures around here so they could survive and everything, so there's not much of it left. A really good example of earth they had to move so they could get down here and everything is this huge gaping hole right here. There used to be a vein of gold-bearing quartz sitting here about 200 feet deep, 22 feet wide, and 150 feet long. It actually got named the Glory Vein because it's the biggest vein of quartz ever found on Earth. So they had a lot of gold in it. We actually have only one article talking about how much gold they were pulling out. It said they pulled out 54 pounds, 9 ounces out of a random day in 1901 of gold. That's pure gold. So that's about $1.4 million worth of gold in just one day. You can imagine being the business owner, that'd be some really nice profit for you. We're going to head down this way. Just watch your head on the ceiling right here and keep on using the safety rails.
Hold on to the side.
Now, don't worry about those big rocks right there. They fell yesterday, so you're all safe.
They fell yesterday?
Of course, I'm kidding. I at least wait 2 days, right? You don't go down this way. We can come up that way.
Guys, did you see the big axe?
Yes.
Did you see the big axe? Right there.
I only saw the thing that you did. I don't see the bottom part. I did not see the bottom.
So, if you look over to your left here, you can see a nice little vein of quartz. From that side to that side, there's estimated to be about $400,000 worth of gold sitting right there right now. Now, like the other 97% of the gold ever pulled out of the earth, this is flour gold. And the reason it gets that name is because every single piece of it is about the size of a cooking flour grain. So very, very small. The other 3% that people get out of the earth is in the streams, and that's how they pan it out, because it's worked its way all the way out of the mountains and it's been separated by them. So the process of getting this stuff out and actually getting it separated is very involved and very expensive. They have to blast it out of the side of the wall, take that quartz down to the stamp mill, crush it up into little pebbles, then have acid come across and take that quartz off of the pyrite and iron which surround the gold. Then you'd have to heat that up really high so that the pyrite and the iron will get off the gold. And now you have kind of a field of fairy-looking gold dust all over the ground. And the only way you could collect it back then and nowadays is by using mercury. And the reason they used that is about 2,000 years ago in Spain, some scientists figured out that mercury is the only thing that attaches to gold, and likewise gold is the only thing that attaches to mercury. So when that comes across, it rips up all that gold for you, and you get into a big pot. It's kind of a liquidy substance now because of mercury, and you'd heat it up, and that mercury would turn into a gas very quickly, and you'd finally have all the gold there by itself. You go and sell it. The only problem was all that mercury is in the air, and people would breathe that in and get mercury poisoning. You had all those employees working down there that would slowly go insane, and their teeth would start to rot and fall out, amongst other things down there. So if you actually had a choice between working in here next to dynamite or there next to that mercury, you would have picked here. Because at least here you have a chance of not getting blown up. Now here, this is the wishing rock, and we call it that because if you hit your head on it, you'll wish you didn't. So just watch your head come down.
Your wish is going to come true?
No, your wish you didn't.
Now, which group of people do you think would have made the most money off the gold mine? Actually, the federal government. Yeah. The people who made the second most money were the suppliers. The reason being is, no matter how successful the gold mine was each month, they still had to go out and buy dynamite, shovels, food, and other mechanical supplies. The third most were the actual risk takers, the business owners, and the investors. They actually made the third most. Kind of ironic. Enjoy that free of charge cold shower right there. There we go. That's perfect. All right.
Give me all the gold in here.
I need some victims on the volunteers. One guy here. All right, put your right hand on that. A little bit further back for me. All right, now we work down here about 8 hours a day, and our job is to be working into that wall. You just hold that for me. When I hit it, you rotate it this way for me. All right? Like this? Yes, sir. So we come all the way from back here. I have a position about twice the size, and I come back here and I come in and I hit that really hard. And this mine is on 98% granite. The other 2% is mainly quartz, and then iron, then pyrite, and 30% of the pyrite is gold. So the point is, we're going to be dealing a lot with granite down here. This is what we can do it for 8 hours each day. You can imagine if I lost concentration after, say, for 7 hours, I could miss. And if I come from back here and I miss, I would shatter your thumb. You could break your thumb and your pointing finger in just one hit, which is really bad for back then because we had no workman's compensation, no welfare. No, sir. So the most you could hope for would be a member of a church or community that would be willing to pull together for you a while. And if you're hand in a field, you had to split up your family amongst your relatives. Your kids might never ever see each other again, or you. So it'd be very dangerous work down here. But the catch was, you got paid $1 a day. And that's a lot better in Dahlonega because the average income in Dahlonega is 25 cents every day. So let's be honest here, you and I probably don't have a lot of skill working here on this wall right here. But we have an incredible work ethic, and because of that, we're going to pay 4 times as much as the average income. Pretty nice. Every 30 minutes, you pull it out for me. And I close my eyes really tight and have to blow into this hole to get that dust out. Slide that one over there. So we blow that dust out. If you didn't do that, the bit would actually get stuck in there because all the dust turning into a type of concrete with all the moisture in there. When that happens, the bit would not move. Those bits are expensive. So just like this one right here, you're out of luck. The manager would walk by and find out that you got that bit stuck and charge both of us $1 each. We go home with no money for that day's work, and also you might have a broken hand. So not a good day for you. All right, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Just put it down here. All right. Now this will be our cubicle or workspace for a long, long time because we have to make 36 of those holes. And they wouldn't just be a foot in. If you close look behind you, you can see that bit against the wall. They would be holes about 4 feet long. So you and I would be here for a long, long time. After you got those 36 holes through there, you tack a full of dynamite and detonate and hopefully wind up with a big hole like this and a lot of quartz on the ground. Now they found out the hard way. They have a underground water table right over there, and when they punctured that hole in, the water started rushing out really, really fast. We're gonna head out this way. Now I got to keep the fire up so you can wait to here. All right. Now this is one of the many tunnels that goes down. We have tunnels reaching down 1.5 miles or 7,500 feet beneath this point right here. And From that point on, just a couple feet down there is the water. From that point on, all the tunnels underneath us are submerged. That's because they've had a bunch of holes like that that would let water through, and microscopic holes made by nature to let water through slowly. So it's kind of like a dam that would let water through before something bad happened. So you'd have a lot of water building up down here. We actually have a pump that turns on about 7 times a month just to keep the water down there. We're going to head this way. If you look above you, you can see this nice hole in the ceiling. That's called a stope. That just means hole in the ceiling. It goes up about 45 to 50 feet. See how high up it goes? If you worked here, you were a stope miner, and you worked on this pneumatic drill, more popularly called the Widowmaker. Very, very dangerous line of work. You and your friend would be on either side of this. You'd be drilling up above you like this. When you're making holes up in the ceiling above you, you are loosening up rock. So one way that you could get hurt is by rock falling. If it was big enough, it could hit your head, and you didn't have hard hats back then. They could just come and hit your head directly. You can imagine how bad that would be. If you're 35 to 45 feet up in the air on a piece of scaffolding with this powerful vibrating gun that operates off of air pressure at about 200 psi, if you fell over, you would hit the ground. If that didn't do it for you, this gun might fall on you. If your friend doesn't catch it for you, it'll fall on or into you while it's still on. So it would be kind of messy down here sometimes. Very, very dangerous line of work. The only reason you work here is because you make $1.50 every single day. So 6 times the average income in Dahlonega, maybe roughly $150,000 each year in today's money. And again, you don't have any skills, so making that kind of money just for a work ethic was a pretty good deal. Now the only thing was, the people that would work here were about 53 to 54 years of age. And that's because the average lifespan back then in the United States was about 55. So you would start working here. You would start working here because you knew you weren't going to be on Earth much longer. So you would just be down here trying to make some extra money for your wife. Because women weren't in the workforce back then. When you passed away, you had to hope that you saved up enough money for them. Otherwise, they were going to have to go and marry another guy. And people didn't like the idea of that. So they'd work here, make some extra money. The third way you could and would die, actually, is after 2 years, you'd be drilling up above you. That granite would come down, fill up your lungs. And one night after 2 years, you just suffocate because your lungs couldn't get enough oxygen in there. So you just pass away during the night. Wife would wake up in the morning, and hopefully you'd left her enough money to manage while you were gone. So imagine working at a place where every day could be your last, and more dangerous than joining the military. After 2 years, you're going to die no matter what. Very, very dangerous line of work. Very desperate times back then. And people knew the stope miners in the city of Dahlonega because very few people were willing to do this job. So whenever you saw a stope miner in the city of Dahlonega, you probably showed them respect like they were a war hero or something. We're going to walk up this way. The ceiling is a lot lower over here, so everyone just watch your head. Just watch your head right here, folks. The ceiling does get a lot lower. Any of you kids know who Thomas Edison was? Raise your hand if you do. All right. He was not the first president. Okay, you still know? Okay, what did he do? What did Thomas Edison do? Okay, guys, you're supposed to sleep in high school, not middle school, all right? So remember that. Now, Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb. It's kind of a big deal when he did it.
You knew that.
Then people were able to stay up late and do homework, so everyone was But when he did that, this became the very first mine of any sort to actually have electricity, furthermore electric lighting, so it's a big deal. This is after General Sherman came down and did his march down to the sea, went through Georgia and South Carolina, and wiped out a lot of industry in the South. So Reconstruction was really difficult, and it was amazing when the South had something that none of the other mines around the earth and in the United States had. And that's counting out west and up north where they had a lot more funds and everything. So this became the first mine to have electric lighting. It's a big deal. The only downside was they're kind of like our Christmas tree lights nowadays. That means when one of them burned out, got loosened, or got cracked, all the lights in the entire mine would go dark. It's 4 miles of tunnel. They'd be off for about 2 hours because you have to wait for that one engineer to finally find the missing link. He'd pull out a light bulb, put in a new one, that's not it, pull that back out, put in the old one, and keep on going down the line until he finally found the missing one. And then, bam, the lights would come out. The nice thing was you got paid for 2 hours. The bad thing was if something bad happened, like you lit a stick of dynamite and a light burned out, or you're going back in to hit that bit and the lights go out, bad stuff could happen at that point. So I'm going to turn off the lights for 2 hours, and you guys are going to see how dark it would have been. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to turn off for about 10 seconds here. If you have any lights on your screens or anything, if you could go ahead and cover those up and shut those off for me, we're going to get the full effect here. All right?
You ready for the dark?
So just put your hand out in front of your face like this. All right, and smack yourself really hard. Yeah, 2, 3. All right, awesome. So try and see your hand when I turn off the lights.
I see everything.
All right, it's been a great tour, everyone. I'll see you up top. All right, let's head out this way. We're going to hang a ride. Right here is the drifter drill. Came out in well, this one was purchased in 1901. It was actually designed in the 1880s. Big deal back then.